Hey everybody, General Sky here, and today I just wanted to do a quick little video on a game project thing that I've been working on uh, for the past week or so right now that have plans to work out to be more of a game, hopefully by the end of hopefully in the next couple of months before this semester of school ends. But uh, I figured I'd just sort of post or just, make a video of what I have right now sort of for like posterity's sake, just look back, see what I had, see what I did wrong, see how stupid I was at some point in the future when I know better. So this is what we're gonna get started with. This is being made in Unity. I don't have a name for this, but the basic idea for the game is you get some sort of resource and then you put it in a thing and then you combine that resource with like another thing and then pops like out another resource and you can use that resource to like combine all the different resources to get a bunch of different things like that. And that's the whole thing. Kind of like Factorio, I guess, would be a good example. I mean, there's been games like that before Factorio, but just a simple example. So that's the whole idea here. So far, right now, I've been trying to work out um, movement of the resources. So like some sort of conveyor belt system. So right now, I'll just spawn some conveyors here and I'll move them around. And so I can take the copper and I can move it, put it on the things. And then I can also rotate them. But here's an issue I'm running into. I don't know why that was happening. There's a lot of little issues with this conveyor belt that I'm having. So I think I'll just probably go over what I need to fix and how I might fix it, and then what I'll be doing for in the future or towards the thing. So right now, conveyor belts is the biggest problem, and yeah, as far as I can tell, it'll probably be the biggest problem because everything else in my mind seems pretty simple how to do. Like checking the different objects in the thing to well, like an object touches a constructor kind of thing, and then it gets added to that constructor as a variable, and then depending on what variables are inside of that constructor, then it will output a different object. And that's pretty simple. And for that, I just need a bunch of like, um, either a different bunch of different types of constructors or a bunch of different just sort of switch statement stuff inside one constructor, and that's just sort of a lot of busy work instead of anything kind of difficult. Whereas this is, I don't know how to get this to work. There's not a lot of stuff online that I've been able to find that has this sort of information about it for what I want to do, which is like a tileable conveyor belt system in a 3D environment. I'm sure there's stuff for like 2D that would be a lot easier, but I mean, I have to figure out all the different sort of physics stuff for 2D, and I don't feel like doing that. So, so a 3D conveyor belt system is what is going to be needed. And for some reason, like you saw before, the way I have them right now, and you might not be able to tell, but I can rotate these with the space button. There's a tiny, there's an arrow here. This is just like some default texture on it, which you can't really see from the game view, but it's there. But for some reason, the copper or the resource on it, oh, that fell through. That hasn't happened before. It moves a little bit to the right if it's connected to it. So like if I have it here where this isn't connected to the rest of these at all, it works fine. But for some reason, I'll just move this out to show you a little bit better. Move slightly to the right when this thing is here. And so I'm using add force right now, and I'm not exactly sure why it's doing that. It's something to do with collisions and this. If I make, actually, hang on, let me just do this really quick. If I make this like 0.9, the size of it 0.9, I doubt it'll do it because now, see, they're not going to be touching, right? So if I spawn some copper here, doesn't do it. So that might be the solution for it. That seems, but I'd rather have it be like a continuous thing. But I don't know. This might just have to be the solution. Otherwise, this actually works pretty well because one of the issues I was running into before, I was using just normal translate on the object. Right now I'm using add force. And you can sort of see that it's jittering a little bit, like it jets forward and then slows down and jets forward and slows down. And that's something to do with add force. I might be able to figure that out later on the road, down the road, but for now it's fine. With add force, whenever the object got to like say here or something, when it was about to touch the next conveyor belt, it would just go straight right across at the turn, on the very, very edge of it, instead of like getting somewhere near the middle of the object, like so. Well, that copper's gone. I think it's here. Yeah, so here. So instead of it being like near the edge here, as you can sort of see, it would be like right. It's kind of hard to show because it's snapping to the screen, but like on the left screen here, it would just be like on this very edge here and be pushing along here, because it would like this. The movement this way would be canceling out the movement that way, and I don't know why, but now with the add force stuff, it works good enough to where it still pushes it up and pushes it sideways. So I'll probably keep this. I'll probably figure out why it's doing the weird speeding up and slowing down. It looks like it speeds up when it touches two of them, and it slows down when it's only touching one. It has a max speed on it. And it's got, let's see, I think it's on here. No, it's on my conveyor belt. There's a max speed function somewhere in here. I think it's, yeah, here. And so I think if it's just touching two of them, it does it differently. But that's, how has... What is happening to my UI? Okay, that's something I gotta figure out. Look at that. If I scale my game screen, it doesn't scale the UI properly. Okay. That's an interesting thing. Huh. Okay. It's finding problems. That's good. So, the next other thing that I need to figure out how to do is, when I push the button, instead of spawning the object in the middle of the screen here, it will spawn it on the mouse, and then I can drag the mouse wherever I need to go. So like it would be, for example, I hit spawn copper, and then it spawns it on the mouse here, and then I can click and drag it, whatever, and I place it down, and hopefully it doesn't fall through the floor. I don't know what that's about. That's not something that should be happening. But I guess it does. That's kind of weird. I'll have to figure some other stuff out with that too, I guess. But yeah, so the idea, you click the button, then it spawns, and you move the mouse, and then it doesn't fall through the floor. Why does it keep falling through the floor? Physics are weird, man. I don't know. It doesn't like that. Like I set it to a specific point. So if I go to my, what is this? Drag object behavior here. Which one is it? It's one on the left. Down here, it sets it to a specific point here, a specific height, and sometimes it falls through and sometimes it doesn't. So when I let go of the mouse, it's not like it has any velocity or anything. Maybe it does. Maybe I should set its velocity to 0 as well. That's a thing. I don't know. These are issues I need to figure out. So, That's the other biggest problem. I tried to do that today, but it's really complicated. I need to be able to get mouse point or whatever from here and then spawn it on that point and then be able to, I don't know. I have to do some research into it. So then after that, after I get all those problems sorted out, and like I said before, this would probably be like so much easier if I just did it in 2D because there's like a bunch of different functions for this already, and I wouldn't have to worry about all this falling through the floor collision nonsense and all that different stuff, but whatever. I wonder if I could make this game camera orthographic, if that would work actually. So what is this height right now? It's 17. Oh. Okay, whatever. Okay, I don't know. It's probably not gonna work, but yeah, no, still a problem. I'll have to figure it out. It's fine. Okay, so the next thing is, this is one of the spawners. So the idea would be that you buy like a copper spawner, and it continuously spawns copper at some rate, and then, or some resource, not necessarily copper, but, and then that, you continues to make that, and then you can craft that into something, or you can just sell it, or you can sell the crafted stuff. So there's going to be like a amount of money that you have, and that'll go up or down depending on stuff that you buy, like conveyor belts or spawners and constructors and things like that. Constructors themselves shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. We're gonna have to look into triggers though, I think. But that's, for the most part, that's what I have right now. So yeah, what I have plans for in the future. So this is part 1, and hopefully there's going to be a part 2 with some big progress of figuring out some stuff. Oh, I also need to do it so where I can't put stuff on top of other stuff. So I can't like put this conveyor belt on top of that. I need to add a collision check. So I might have it where you click on something instead of click and drag, where it'll drag the object around, so that when you left click again, it needs to check first if there's an object below it, and if there's not, then it won't place it. Otherwise I'm going to need to make it so where you pick it up, it's okay. So yeah, or I could just, okay, so when you pick up the object, it creates a vector location of its previous thing, and then if you try and drag it over something and it doesn't allow that, then it'll just plop it back down to where it was before. That would be simple enough. And I can keep my click and drag stuff, and then I can implement the click on this button, and then it'll spawn on the mouse eventually. Okay, I've got plans. And then I can actually, this is a spawner here. Let me just show you how that works. I think that's all of them. Okay, so then if I hit left control, just creates copper. Nice and pushy. And I hit control again, and it should stop. Oops. And then space rotates all the objects 90 degrees. Oh yeah, also for some reason 90 degrees is not 90 degrees. If you can see the rotation at the over here, it's 90, oops, 90.00001 or whatever. So every time I rotate, it gets a little bit askew, which is weird. I don't know why. And the more you rotate it, the worse it gets. I guess what I can do is add some sort of rounding function like I did with the grid. But I mean, that shouldn't be happening in the first place, because back to my script here. It only rotates at 90 degrees, or an amount of 90. I don't know why, and it's like different every time. I have no idea. It's odd. But I could probably just like do this. Math.round. Let me just do that really quick, actually. How would I do this, actually? No, I need to think about this. Okay, whatever. I'll just do it later. So yeah, okay. Part 1. List of things I need to work on.